Well, hello, friends, and welcome to another round of OS hacking. Today, we are going to work on drag stuff, like drag and drop, and I would like to be able to click on this thing here and then just start dragging it and then dropping it on something. And not exactly sure how far we'll take this in the one video, but I think we should be able to get something up and running. So I would like to, drag and drop definitely has to be a cross application concept, right? So I want to be able to grab my file here and like drag it over to the desktop or drag it to the terminal or drag it wherever. Definitely want to be able to do that. So dragging is going to have to communicate with the Windows server. And I'm thinking that you would initiate a drag operation somehow in the mouse, I guess in the mouse down, either in the mouse down handler or the mouse move handler. Like if you mouse down and then move the cursor a certain number of pixels, then we would say, okay, he's dragging it, right? And then we would start a drag operation somehow. And then when we do that, we tell the Windows server, hey, here's what we're dragging, which I guess could take some form, like a list of strings. Here, maybe we would have like an icon that we are dragging, as well as the text that we should display. And then the Windows server takes care that whenever you're moving the cursor now, we don't just draw the cursor, but also like a little icon of whatever it is that you're dragging. Yeah. So let's just try to get that going. And then also, when you drop the thing somewhere, then I think there should be a drop event that shows up. So the Windows server will like determine where the dragged thing was dropped, if anywhere. And if it's dropped somewhere, then we'll send a drop event to that client. Does that make sense? So let's try to build this. I think we'll start maybe with the item view where we are dragging from. So that would be in G item view in this case, because that's what File Manager uses for the view that I was demonstrating with. So mouse down event, if we look at that right here. So right now it toggles selection, right? So selection state changes based on this. So maybe we should do the mouse move event actually, which we don't even listen for here. So we'll start doing that. Mouse move. And we'll say something like, we'll keep around where we started. So mouse down, left mouse down, position, and then we'll just store that when we mouse down with the left mouse. Event position, okay, and then G item view, mouse move event. Then we will say if event buttons and G mouse button left. So the left button is held down. Then if the distance, do we have distances somewhere? Distance traveled squared. I recognize this. I've used this before. So the diff is the event position minus the place where we mouse down, and then the max distance for the. This is a bit different. So if distance traveled squared is greater than, we'll call it the drag threshold, drag distance threshold. maybe 5 pixelets. Yeah. Static constant. Okie dokie. Context. Then if we get here, right now we'll just say like initiate drag, because I just want to see if this is happening. I have not used drag and drop in any GUI environment since Visual Basic, I think. So this might end up a little bit outside of how it's normally done, but we'll try to do something sensible. Apps file manager, exe apps file manager, and sync and run. All right. So what does it mean to initiate a drag anyway? So we click, drag. Oh, we're initiating a drag. So I feel like we want to go in a nested event loop here at this point, because when you initiate a drag, then the application kind of loses control, right? Because now you're in the drag land, and you're dragging something around, and you can't interact with the app until you drop the thing somewhere. So much like a message box or something, we're going to put a nested event loop here. So we want to do something sort of like gdialog, I guess, which you create a gdialog and then you call exec on it, and it gives you back the result of the operation. And exec will create a new event loop and nest it so that we don't return until, I mean, in this case, you don't return until you click OK in the message box or whatever, but we'll do something similar. So we'll create something, we'll call it like a drag operation, maybe. That's pretty descriptive. Drag operation. And gdrag operation. Maybe this thing has like a name that everybody knows and I don't know because I don't know everything. But drag operation sounds kind of okay to me. Oh. Meta fresh. Okay. Class gdrag operation. And actually, let's model this after gdialog. Except it's not going to be a window. It's going to be a C object, I think. Drag operation. Close doesn't really make sense. Drag operation, yeah. And the result is not like okay or aborted, but we can say that it tells you whether it was dropped somewhere or not, maybe. So like drop, drag result, just result, enum class result. Result, does that make sense? Like outcome? Dropped or discarded. Does that make sense? It's sort of like dropped is that somebody accepted it. Maybe we should say accepted or discarded. None. Then we can say outcome. And just like with gdialog, you call done on it when we're done with the drag operation. Well, we'll see how this turns out. So now drag op, create one, and then drag auto outcome is drag operation exec. And then I guess we can just switch on the outcome. Drag outcome accepted. Drag was accepted. Discarded. So this would be like, maybe if you press escape, you would discard the drag. Or maybe canceled is better. Because discarded sounds like, what if you drop it on like a trash, like a recycle bin or something like that, right? Like the discarded sounds a little bit like overloaded. Canceled sounds like you cancel the drag somehow. And what do you do here? Like now I'm dragging a piece of text and I press escape. Yeah, that's the kind of behavior that we want here, I think. Not implicitly convertible to int. Oh. Well, there we go. Default assert not reached. All right. Let's see, cancel or accept. Done, outcome. Okay, it's pretty okay. Does this? All right. So what are we gonna do in this function here? When we execute this guy, let's just do the boilerplate first, I guess. Parent, C object, parent, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Exec. So what was gdialog doing? Just creating the event loop and everything. We'll borrow some of that. Okay, so I assert that we don't have an event loop already, because that would be weird. And I guess we should tell it where we are. I mean, where does the drag operation start from? Although at the same time, it should, like, your mouse cursor shouldn't suddenly jump somewhere else. So we want to drag to begin wherever the mouse is right now. That's where we'll switch into drag mode. So I think here we'll want to be able to talk to the Windows server. And we're not going to show anything. So we just want to set up, tell the Windows server that we're dragging, and then we enter a new event loop. And in that new event loop, we wait for something to call accept or cancel on us. Outcome. Event loop exec. Oh, I see. So that's fine. So what we'll do here is send sync start drag, maybe. And let's see, what's that going to contain? Start drag. Maybe, because okay, so one thing is I don't want this to be like X11 with copy paste, because it's so frustrating that when you copy something from a program and then the program dies, then you can't paste that anywhere because of the negotiated clipboard thing. I don't want to have that situation here either, but at the same time, it is a bit weird that you would drag something from one app to another and then the app you're dragging from would die and the drag would still be ongoing. That's also weird. So I'm not exactly sure how this whole thing should fit together, but we can make some sense of it. Because now I'm thinking, like, what if I drag from a file manager, I drag a file to the desktop, and the desktop, imagine a future where the desktop has like file management capabilities. So you would be dragging like file names basically from one process to another, and then the desktop would decide that, okay, this means that you should move these files here now. Then it's basically the receiving end that does the operation, right? And then the file manager that we were dragging from in that case wouldn't do anything, and he would just, like, I guess, get notified that the files disappeared eventually, but all the actual work would be happening in the receiving side. I think that makes sort of sense to me. So maybe what we'll do here is we'll just start with the bitmap, I guess. So shared bitmap ID, maybe bitmap shared. What do we normally call these? Shared buffer ID. I guess that makes sense. Let's say bitmap, drag bitmap. Drag bitmap ID. Yay. Okay. And maybe we'll also have a text. I'll put that first. That's probably okay. And then the window client needs some kind of API that that he gets notified when something was dropped on him. So we'll say like drag dropped. We'll call it drag dropped. Drop event. Drop. Maybe drop. String text, bitmap ID. And it's almost like this is not terribly important here. Maybe there should be like a separate data buffer or something where you can put anything. But right now we'll just do it this way right now. We'll say drag dropped. There was a drag and it was dropped on you. Okay. And WS client connection, or let's see. Let's just generate the new virtuals so that we have to deal with them. So on the server side, we had onPutter start drag, right? message. And I don't really know how we're gonna take care of this yet, so fix me, we'll come back to this. And in the Windows Server connection on the client side, we want to handle that incoming message as well. Drag dropped. That's our new thing that we got to take care of. So G Windows Server connection message. Okay. And maybe we'll just worry about the text right now. So we should turn this into a drop event maybe. So actually this one is going to need a window ID so that we know who we're dropping on. And also the location inside the window. Point mouse position. Otherwise, because like a window can have many widgets, right? And the Windows Server only sees like a window rectangle, but inside of that window on the client side, there's like, you know, list views and buttons and all kinds of things. So we need to know what is dropping on. How do we do that from mouse events? Sort of similar to mouse events. We'll say if window from window with the window ID, then we post a G drop event, the mouse position, and the text, and the bitmap ID. I think we'll just make one like that. Okay. And then let's go and define an event for this. So this would be a drop. Maybe we'll just call it drop. And G drop event, final public G event. I already forgot what it had. What did I put in it? Mouse position, text, and bitmap. So point mouse position. I guess position would be fine. Const string text int bitmap ID. And the bitmap we should probably like fetch it for you before we pass it down like this. So maybe we'll do that actually. We'll turn this into a ref putter graphics bitmap. Just to be nice. Okay, ref putter to graphics bitmap. Or no, this can just be one of these. And point position, spelling, okay. Because I should have declared these members before I use them like this, but whatever. Private. Okay, that's our drop event. And bitmap ID, I think for now we'll just do null putter here. Fix me, turn the message, into a bitmap. Or actually, we don't need the bitmap when you're dropping something, because the bitmap is just for the Windows server. Because when you're receiving or accepting a drop, then you don't care about what the cursor looked like when we were dragging. You just care about whatever data is in the drop. And right now, this is our data, but we should figure out some better data storage eventually. But for now, I think this is okay. Start drag. Should we know which window was initiating the drag? Maybe we should. I feel like it's polite to inform the Windows server which window is originating the drag. So we'll do that. We don't have to care about the bitmap here. Okay, we're good. And drop event can lose the bitmap. That's better. Don't need that for declaration. Okay. And then gwidget is going to need a drop event virtual. It's been a while since I've been adding new events, so this is fun. Change events. So the default event handlers in gwidget are just empty, and then you're supposed to override these in your subclass if you like. So we'll have one here too. Drop event. That's it. And we'll have to look at handle mouse event. So we should probably do this something similar for because we'll get a drop event here, and this is the event dispatch function gets called. Then we just check the event type and call the appropriate virtual. So we'll just do this. It's no big deal. Okay. Now, of course, we also have to make sure in the gwindow class that we are, when we receive an event in the window, then we got to figure out which widget inside of the window is this for. So it's very similar to mouse events, but we can actually put it up top here. So if it is a drop event, then gdrop event, and then if we don't have a main widget, we can't really accept this drop, so we'll just ignore it. Otherwise, we'll ask the main widget, what am I hitting with this position that I have? And then let's make a local variant of this event. G-event drop, one where we have the actual local position. So this will be the position in widget coordinates. And this is, oh, I forgot to make these public. This is just because it's when you have a widget, we always want widgets to receive coordinates in their own local coordinate space, so that like the topmost leftmost point of the widget is 0, 0, right? Otherwise it gets very confusing, because normally we get all coordinates in window relative coordinates, but we just convert them here in gwindow. So local position, and I guess just the rest of the event as well. So, drop event.text. Yep, there we go. And then if the result, the result has to have hit some widget. So, and then we'll just say result widget dispatch event. local event. Okay, I think that's good. Now, we probably want to say in GWidget, let's just do something in the drop event. Actually, we'll print out that somebody dropped something on us. So we'll say class name, print out what we are, and our pointer value, and drop event. Text, maybe the event position. Text. Drop. Position is this, text is that. Cool. Okay. Now, what happens in the Windows server when we initiate one of these things? And actually, how the hell do we know that the drag finished? We need to notify the dragging app also that the drag has, drag has dropped in the, this is when you get something dropped on you, basically. And then we also need drag accepted. Maybe right now we'll just say drag accepted or drag canceled. You don't get to find out anything more than that. We'll just have those two messages. And they will show up in the Windows Server connection. Okay, and we can put these here. And what these are going to do, so we're going to receive these in the app where we initiated the drag, and we are just going to notify the currently happening gdrag operation that it's finished. Server connection. Like, we could imagine giving more data here, like who accepted our drag, stuff like that. But right now, it's not so important. We'll say gdrag operation current, maybe something like this. Or accepted. Notify accepted. Notify canceled. Okay. Drag, and here we will have, that's these guys basically. So these are going to be notify accepted, notify canceled, and we'll take a batch GWindows server connection so that nobody else can call this. Let's say class GWindows server connection. All right, cool. And then we should implement done as well. Outcome. We should assert that this doesn't happen more than once. So and event loop quit. Yeah, exit that event loop and start drag. Is that what we called it? I totally forgot. Now I realize that I don't have the window ID here, so maybe it was premature to add a window ID when we start to drag, because I don't have it anyway. So let's just do without it for now. We just need a text and a bitmap ID. So we'll start with Oh, it's Windows Server start drag actually. We don't have any text here. I guess we could have some text on this. So it could be like void set text. Text. There we go. And then we'll just pass mtext, and we'll say -1 for the bitmap ID and not care about that at the moment. Okay. I wish I had some kind of cursor for this, so we could switch to a different cursor, but maybe that's overkill at the moment. I'm just thinking, don't I have, where are the things I'm thinking of? Cursors. I have a hand cursor. Could fashion this into something more draggy, you know, like start by doing something like that, and I don't know. Let's not worry about this right now. Cursor is not the important part. So when we start to drag, then what happens in Windows Server when we're starting to drag? Now we have to go into a drag mode. So window manager, though, now only one client can drag at the same time. So basically, if someone else is dragging, then this is going to fail. So we'll say WM is, oops, is this dragging. I will return a Windows Server start drag response. We'll say false. Otherwise, we'll say true, and we'll make this thing return whether or not we could start a drag, because otherwise, this is going to get weird. So bool started, and start drag was sent out here. So response is this. And we'll say if response started. If it fails, then we'll return, say, m outcome. We'll just say outcome canceled, I guess. Something like that. I think that makes sense. Okay. And then we'll do something like start, not window drag, just a drag operation. Start drag, and this will have the text. We'll just do it like this right now, or we should make a bitmap. Do I have some code here that grabs a bitmap? Create a bitmap from this thing. Oh, then we're going to need to know how big the bitmap is. Size, bitmap size. So that would be message, bitmap size, area. Okay, and this is the bitmap ID. Okay, and then we'll say here that graphics bitmap. if message bitmap ID is not -1. Okay. And then we need some isDrag and startDrag functions. So is dragging, we'll say I'm dragging. Start drag. Graphics bitmap like that. Okay. Yeah, start with those. And then we'll say that we store the text here. So m drag text bool, m dragging false. Rough footer graphics bitmap, m drag bitmap. So start drag and end drag. Okay, we'll need those two. And what are they going to do? Well, let's see, window manager. Should assert that we are dragging, otherwise things will get weird. Here we should not be dragging. And then drag text becomes text. And then drag bitmap becomes bitmap. And drag text becomes empty. And drag bitmap becomes empty. No, that doesn't work. How about null putter then? And then we want to invalidate the cursor. Do we have anything for that? Compositor invalidate cursor. Oh, that's good enough. Compositor the validate cursor. Yeah. Okay. And then while we're drawing the cursor, now this is going to have to look at the window manager and see if there's a drag going on. If so, we will also paint something for that. So we'll just say like if WM is dragging, if WM drag, okay, we're gonna need to expose this actually. Const string drag text. Graphics bitmap, drag bitmap, text. If it's not empty, then fix me also do the bitmap. If present, and back painter draw text. We'll just draw some text nearby the cursor. Cursor rect bottom right. WM drag text. Text. I guess we don't need to do anything else. We can just do it that way. No, I need some more things. Oh, it needs a rectangle. Shit. I guess we can just do just make a big rectangle then. It's not so important. I just want to see something. No? Jeez. Okay, hold on. What's wrong with this? Oh, I see. It was all messed up. Well, anyways, we'll just put this into a variable outside of it instead. Okay. So the thing that makes us drop the drag is when we get a mouse event. So mouse handle mouse. Where's the mouse handling? Process mouse event. Okay. When you let go of the left mouse button during a drag, that's when we will drop the thing. So let's see, if process ongoing drag turn. I think it might be similar to this thing. So this is a bit weird, but basically there are these special functions that get called if we're in the middle of dragging a window around, or if we're in the middle of a resizing a window. So we're in the middle of a drag. Drag. So this one will say like if dragging. If not dragging, then return. And if it is mouse up and it is left, this is when we'll do something. Otherwise, we won't do anything. So we're only interested in this particular event. So we should actually return earlier. If not, this condition, return false. That simplifies the nesting here a little bit. And let's just don't care about double clicks. Don't care about any of this. We just care about where did you just drop this thing. So we got to figure out who are you dropping it on, bro. For each window from front, visible window from front back. This tells us who are we hitting. So window, and then and then we'll say hovered window is null footer. But if we find one, we'll say if window frame contains event position. Window frame rect, sorry. Window frame rect contains event position, then hovered window is this window. And we will stop here. So iteration decision break, otherwise continue. And we'll stop or end drag, right. So we got to figure out what to tell him. So if hovered window, then somebody is accepting this. But who is it? Let's not worry about who it is. Somebody is accepting the drag. So hovered window. Wait, no. We need to know who. Oh shit! We gotta know which client is dragging. That's what we're missing here. Start drag. This needs to know who is doing this client connection. And drag. And maybe instead of checking this boolean, we'll have like weak putter to WS client connection and drag client. Okay, and this is so overloaded with the other drag thing, which is the dragging windows, like to move them. So we're gonna have to rename that, I think, because this is drag. The other stuff is like move. Maybe we'll call this like drag and drop client. Drag DND bitmap. Drag drop client. I think DND client is maybe the best. So we don't. It is dragging. I'll change that to DND client. WS client connection, DND client. Okay, and the drag text becomes the DND text. Drag bitmap becomes the DND bitmap. And then start drag and drag becomes start DND and DND drag. Okay, start DND drag and DND client. If we have a DND client, then we can't do this. Start DND drag. Oh, it's expecting a pointer to us. Right, that makes sense. And then end drag, the end DND drag. Client is client make weak putter. WS client connection client. All right. Start DND drag. So now we can find the client that's talking to us. That's very important because the whole issue was that we wanted to send him a notification that the drag is finished. So if there's no DND client, there's no ongoing drag. If we have a hovered window, then mdnd client post message window client. We don't have that here. We should have that here. Window server, window client endpoint. Window client, drag accepted. If you're not dropping it on a window, we'll say drag canceled. That makes some sense. And of course, we should also probably do the same if you press escape during a drag. Key down, key down. If it's a key event, we'll say if key event type is WS event key down and key event key is key escape, and we have a DND client. Is DND and DND drag turn. Oh shit, and we also have to D&D client post message window client can drag canceled. Okay. I feel like we have something here. So when we end the drag, maybe we should invalidate the cursor as well. Is dragging. Oh, this is gone now. It's D&D client. Notify canceled. What did we do wrong with that? Oh shit, right, it was supposed to be static. So that we can call it on the currently executing drag. So let's see how we do this. We'll have a static g drag operation. Current drag operation. Assert no current drag operation. And then we'll say as current drag operation is this. And actually, no, we'll say it down here. And it becomes null butter after we finish. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then gdrag operation notify accepted. Done, outcome accepted. Oops. And for canceled, I'm not even sure if canceled versus accepted really makes any difference, but from the like originating side's perspective, I'm not sure what I would do with that information, but probably doesn't hurt to provide it either. Okay, drag operation. We don't have such a constructor. Well, drag operation. Maybe it should be okay to create one that has no parent parameter. Because we were just constructing it like this, right? With no arguments. So what's wrong with this then? Drop event. Where are we here? Drag operation. Line 20. Start drag. Text, bitmap ID, bitmap size. Forgot about the bitmap size. Okay, well, since we don't have a bitmap, doesn't really matter. And then G window, G window. Where we create the drop event. Oh, we don't need to provide the type, actually. This thing is not calling the base class constructor correctly. I just realized. There we go. Otherwise, how would he know what his event type is? Didn't make any sense. Is there a default event type? Called gEvent. Interesting. So it's possible to create a gEvent with no type specified. Then you'll just get invalid, I guess. So you can create a C event. Yeah. Doesn't seem useful to create an empty event like that, so maybe we should get rid of that capability. Let's see. I hope I made all the right assumptions with on the dropping side. I feel like it makes a lot of sense. I guess if it all builds now, we can see if we can at least drag and see some text being dragged. Although I think we're not going to invalidate the rectangle around the cursor correctly because it won't take into account the text. So we might see a bit of ghosting maybe, but if everything works. But right now we're just interested in, can we initiate a drag? Does it block the application? And does the receiving side receive a drop event? So let's start by just taking this, and that's very crashy. Current drag operation failed. We initiate drag twice. That's not good. So why does that happen? Initiate drag. I guess because we get more mouse move events on that thing. So when we are dragging, we shouldn't give any mouse move events to Windows. Otherwise, they're just going to go into... Because now what's happening is that we just get more mouse move events and we just start another drag. But this shouldn't happen because you shouldn't be able to start a drag while you already have one. So in the window manager, process mouse event. So if we have an ongoing drag, then unless you're letting go of the mouse, maybe we should just swallow everything. Does that make sense? So if it's not, this will return true, which means that everything, all mouse events will be swallowed until you let go. Okay, so now we're dragging. And did we get any message here? It was accepted, but I don't see any thing from the terminal. And then notify accepted dies because we think we have a drag operation, but we don't. Drag was accepted. Event loop returned. Drag accepted. Notify drag accepted. Wait, drag was accepted. Okay, but then why does this happen again? Do we get multiple accepted events? Drag accepted. We send it out here. Hovered window, drag accepted, and drag. And oh shit, we're not getting rid of the client. Gotta detach the drag and drop client at that point. We didn't get a drop event message from the terminal that I was dropping on though, so still not where it should be. So now I'm dragging, letting go. But why would it get a drop event? I'm not posting any drop messages, so and DND. So now we just got to tell the hovered window, post if hovered window has a client, post message window client, drag dropped. That's the hovered window ID. And the position. And the DND text. We need to make that local position. Where's the window relative position code? Process mouse event. Translated event. I guess that's all we need to do is just do one of these. So event translated hovered window position. Translated event position. Just to make sure that the drop receiver gets the drop in local coordinates. So if we drag this, drop here, and look at that shit. Terminal widget receiving a drop, position 3750 with text nothing. Let's put some text in it. What's the text gonna be? I guess we'll just grab whatever whatever you have selected. So drag operation set text. We'll say if no model, let's return to abstract view. And we can assume we have a model. Model data. Should know if we have a selection as well, actually. And selection is non-empty. And then maybe we'll do something like string builder builder. And we'll do selection for each index. Data is model data index. We can just get the display role, which will give us the text for each index. And then we'll say like builder append. Let's do something like this. It'll be silly, but to string like that maybe, or even like that. And builder to string, builder build. Oh, to string. I like to string better. Just the little details. Oh, look at that. That's some ghosting I was talking about. So we got readme MD. What if we select multiple things? Oh, wait. No. it loses the selection if I start to drag. Okay, well, it's a separate issue. We definitely have to fix the this is ghosting. So let's see. In the compositor, when we invalidate cursor, we have to take the drag and drop rect into account. So this window manager FWM DMD client. Maybe the DMD rect. We'll do something like this. DMD rect. Okay, and then we'll have a. What's the DMD rect going to be? What the hell is the current cursor rect? We get it from the window manager. Okay, so we'll get it from him as well. Rect, DMD rect. Put this out of line. And we can use that down here. Okay. And then compositor window manager. It's going to be wherever the cursor is. Current, right. The current cursor rect. I'll grab the cursor rect and then, or maybe we should put it underneath the cursor rect somehow. Okay, let's figure this out. So width is going to be M. Do we have some font? We do have a font. Okay. Font. Width. TND text. Height is font glyph height for now. And the compositor, or no, let's say auto location. Current cursor rect location translated. Or maybe current cursor rect center translated 10 pixels below. 8 by 8? I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. Okay, so then return rect location with height, something like that. And we can, no, I think that's okay. Almost. not invalidating correctly still. Okay. Compositor. What do we use this for? Last cursor rect. We're making that dirty. Okay, so let's include that here. Last D&D rect. Okay. Just storing that. Else, we'll say last D&D rect is empty. And that way we'll always invalidate the last drag rect that we had as well, every time that we invalidate, which is the same we do for the mouse cursor. So I feel like that should be enough to get it to stop ghosting. Yeah. Cool. So it's not perfect. Maybe we should put a little background on it or something, because otherwise it sort of disappears. So let's see. If we have a text, then back painter fill rect. D&D rect. And what are we going to put here? Text alignment. Center, I guess, is fine. Say white, and then we can use them. What's that color we always use? Maybe it's this one. Is this the one? Yeah, that's the one. It should be stored in a global place somewhere, but right now it's not. Or actually, we could even use some alpha for this. How cool would that be? So let's go in the cursor tool in the Hack Studio. Color, this color right here. Let's see how that would look. Maybe we'll even draw a little rectangle around it, just like we were doing there. D&D rect, okay. That didn't really work out the way I hoped. Top left. Should do back. Maybe this rect doesn't look the way I thought it did. Oh, it is like that. Okay. Oh, it's kind of neat. But I rather like this better than. So we'll just do 110, 34, 9 with a high alpha, like 200. Oh, and actually, I'm getting down to the important details here. probably pad that rect a little bit, to be honest. D&D rect. We'll inflate it 4 pixels on each side. Or do we have inflate? Yeah, we had inflated. Okay, so we could actually turn rect, comma, dot inflated 4,4. Cute. That is pretty cute. Oh, that looks so stupid with top left. Needs to be centered. And of course, though, the label is not perfect. Because we add some space after it and whatever, but it is cool that you can drag. And that's a little bit of alpha, if you can see that. And of course, we could do all kinds of things here, like this would focus that window and so on. If you're hover dragging something, you can make events for that. But something. Boom. You can drop it here, drop down the item view. Cool. Okay, so I think we're going to turn this into some commits now because we've just been going crazy here. Geez, is any of this standalone? Not really. Everything just fits together. Everything. Yeah, I'm still not sure if drag accept drag cancel is needed, if the distinction is needed. And we don't have the bitmaps, but I think we're going to commit what we have here. Say GUI plus Windows Server. Start fleshing out drag and drop functionality. This patch enables basic drag and drop between applications. You initiate a drag by creating a gdrag operation object and calling exec on it. It didn't fit on the same line. Okay. This works similarly to message boxes in that this this creates a nested event loop in the calling program that only returns once the drag operation has been accepted or cancelled, has ended. On the receiving side, get a gdrop event, call to gdrop event with a gdrop event that will containing information about the dropped data. Don't pass. We don't. The only data passed right now is a piece of text, also used to visually indicate that a drag is happening by showing the text in a little box that follows the mouse cursor around. there's a bunch of things to fix here, but as it's a good place to start. But we're off to a start. Okay. There are things to fix. I just want to fit one of those. Maybe we should do the bitmap as well. How do we do the bitmap? Where do we get the bitmap from here? We asked for the icon for the index. Okay. So mouse move event. We'll just grab the icon for any of these guys. So graphics, bitmap, if we don't have a bitmap yet, model, data, index, gmodel, role, icon, icon, data as icon, bitmap for size, we'll ask for 32 there, and then what does that give us? Graphics bitmap, right? So we'll try this. Okay, set bitmap. Const graphics bitmap. We'll store this refer graphics bitmap. And then here we got let's see, int bitmap ID. If and bitmap. How do we make a shareable copy? Share with. Just gonna steal some code that does this somewhere. Create shared bitmap. This is good. So we just want this. Create shared bitmap. No, wait, what am I doing? Format, RGBDA 32, and bitmap size. Graphics bitmap should really have a way to make a shared copy of itself. Maybe we should add that. I feel like I'm doing this over and over. So it's not static actually, but rather shareable bitmap. To shareable bitmap. And what will this do? I'm just going to create a copy of it if necessary. So if we have a shared buffer already, we can just return this. Otherwise, create with size. Size in bytes. Bitmap is graphics bitmap create with shared buffer and format move buffer, or just buffer actually, and size. Oh, we have to move it. Alright, fine, whatever. Can I just do this? Huh. Now we just want to copy everything over. So copy buffer data scan line 0 size in bytes. I think we're good with that. Okay, and then we don't need to do this stuff. We can just say shareable map is shared bitmap is bitmap to shareable bitmap. Oh shit, we gotta share it with someone. So to shareable bitmap. Can we get to the shared buffer inside of it? Shared buffer. It's not exposed. We can expose that. I think that's okay. Because then that would allow us to say shared buffer share with G Windows Server connection the server PID. Okay. And then the bitmap ID is the shared buffer ID of the shared bitmap. Okay. Now we should be sending over a bitmap. Then what are we going to do with that? Well, in the Windows Server client connection, we already saved the bitmap. Oh, and we put it, oh, we pass it to the start DND drag, right. Okay, so we have it here. Then I guess the easiest, let's just paint it, see what it looks like if we have it at all. So if wm dnd bitmap split d bitmap, we need a location, right? DND rect, top left, whatever. size. I think this is going to turn out pretty good. I mean, we have to fix up the D&D rect so it includes the bitmap. So, not exactly sure how we'll do that, but we'll figure out a way. Maybe the D&D thing should just grow around the cursor instead. So we'll say D&D bitmap. If we have one, then D&D bitmap width. Otherwise, nada. And then here we'll say width is the max of the text or the bitmap width. Max of the glyph height and the bitmap height. And a lot of rebuilding going on. I guess because of the changes to graphics bitmap, actually. But we are basically home free now, I thought. Still have the menu applets. Okay, so we got the ghosting again. Let's just try this. Oh, forgot to build. Sync. Okay, pretty interesting. So I think we're gonna give the text a little bit more space. So maybe instead of max on these, we'll add them together. On the width, and then when we're painting, text rect is D&D rect if wm D&D bitmap, then we'll move it sideways. Wm D&D bitmap width. And we'll put it to center left. So we'll always fill it, and then yeah. Definitely not perfect, but it's far from it, but it will give us something. Yeah, see? Bloop. Kind of cool. Okay, now of course we're not handling the drop events anywhere, but I'm running out of steam a little bit here, so I'm just going to commit this and end the video here, I think. So, 2 shareable bitmap. Now that's a useful thing. That's in loop. draw. Add graphics bitmap to shareable. Turns this bitmap itself if it's already backed by a shared buffer object. Otherwise, it creates a new bitmap copy, shareable copy of itself, and returns that. And then, yeah, basically just passing the bitmap across and showing it. So, libgui plus Windows Server. Pass and show, allow an optional bitmap. Drag bitmap. An optional drag bitmap. This bitmap is displayed alongside the dragged text. The cursor, the mouse cursor while dragging. This will be excellent. This will be a perfect fit for dragging AG file script. Okay, so I am getting a little tired here, so I'm going to end the video here. But if you made it this far, then I thank you for watching and for hanging out. And I really hope you saw something interesting today while we were implementing drag and drop. So yeah, thanks for hanging out. And yeah, thanks for hanging out. I'll see you next time. Bye.